Hello everyone. This is your first day of the Flutter Festival, and today we are going to talk about the Dart and Flutter basics. For those of you who don't know me, I am your GDSC lead, and Shivam would be your facilitator for the Flutter Festival. Shivam, just give a brief about yourself at first, those who have not attended the last session. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am your facilitator for the current Flutter Festival. So a little bit about me. I am currently working as an intern at CryptoCase, and yes, I have been learning Flutter since last 6 months. So I think it is enough to teach you guys.
Yeah.
What do you
So,
think?
uh, Shivam and me would be like going with you throughout this journey. And let's begin.
Yeah. So first of all, just head on to dartpad.dev. We will
Yeah.
be using this
For
platform to run our
mm,
run our Dart
s-
code.
yeah, so Flutter is based on Dart, if you don't know, and Dart is the object-oriented programming language that Flutter is built upon. So you need to first learn the Dart basics, and for that, let's head on to the dartpad.dev. So where Shivam can like continue. Yeah.
So just open this in another tab of your browser. It
Yeah.
would be great if you just follow along us and just comment down below if you have opened it.
Yeah, like just keep the chat alive so that even we are able to get the feedback. So if you are on the dart pad, like just say hello or anything. Just type I'm there or anything on the chat so that we know that you are there on the dart pad.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So Shivam, I think you can continue with the dart pad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay, so just you would be familiar with C++. Most of you would be familiar with C++. So just like C++ and Dart 2, the code starts executing from the main function. Okay, and you can use a print statement to print anything to the console. I will just show you it in Dartpad.dev. We will just make a main function and we will print something like hello flutter, and then we will click run. Okay, little bit error. It's running. Um, what's the wrong? Yeah, so it just printed a hello flutter just like that. Okay, and then uh, let's go on to how you can declare variables in Flutter. So there are two ways to declare variables in Flutter. The first one is declaring a variable without specifying the type. Uh, you can declare a variable without specifying the type by just writing var space the name of the variable and then equals to the value of that and semicolon. That's done. And if you want to specify if you want to declare a variable by specifying its type, then it's just like you would have done in C++. You have to specify the data type of the variable, the name of the variable, and then equal to the value of it. So let's just do it. Like I want a variable a to be value 20, and yes, I can even print that directly if I want. So Uh, Dartpad is a bit slow, I guess.
No problems in that.
Um, um, this shouldn't be this slow. Are you guys able to run the code in Dartpad.dev? Can you write in comments?
Maybe just try to reset it and like copy the code and reset it and then
Yeah, good.
yeah.
What's this? I can't figure out. Maybe
Okay, maybe you can
should I just
like
add
you
on to
had
VS Code? I mean,
yeah, sure, head on to VS Code. No
just
problems.
1 minute. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Mm,
Let me just check if I can.
just 1 minute. Also, is it visible? Shirish can confirm.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm adding to the stream. Yeah, it's visible
Yeah.
right now.
Okay. So, where were we? Okay, so we were declaring a variable without specifying its type, right? So yeah, I can just simply print that, and maybe I should increase the font size. Yeah, and if I run it, then yeah, the variable printed here with hello, and
Mhm.
I can even just declare it as a string, no problem. Yeah, it will just say name of the variable, right? But the thing is, sometimes to make
Yeah,
the
so
more,
even I shared the screen, so it was working for me. Yeah, continue
yeah,
sharing. You can continue.
yeah. So if you are specifying the data type of the variable, it really increases the readability of the code. So I would suggest that you just declare the variable by specifying the type of it. Like here, I am just specifying the type of this as string. Um, yeah, so you can do both in both ways, but this one is preferred for better code readability. And yeah, there is one more thing. You can declare constant variables. Uh, like for example, I want to declare a variable pi. The value of pi will never change, right? So it shouldn't even change it. वो अपने प्रोग्राम
Yeah.
में भी नहीं बदलना चाहिए. So let me just
So
try to change it. Mm, so it will give me an error saying the constant variables can't be assigned a value. Okay,
yeah,
so
so let
that
me just, for those who don't know, let me just give a brief about the data types which you can use in Dart. So there for the number data type, there's int, double, num. For strings, there is the string data type. Then boolean, you have bool. For lists, you have list, just like you have in Python. And for something like a dictionary, which you can see in Python, there is map. Or you can say maps are like a common thing. They represent the set of value in key value pairs. Yeah. So these were some of the data types in Flutter, in Dart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now we will
continue.
learn about lists, right? Let me just remove all of this. Now to declare a list, you just simply have to write a list and then name of the list. For example, let me write it as just a numbers. Okay, and I can just give any value. And then yeah, that's how you can declare a list. There is another way. I mean, not another way, but yeah, just a way of writing it. You can just mention the data type of the members uh, of the elements. I mean, you can mention the data type of the members of the list.
Elements, yeah.
Yeah. So in this list, I can just remove all of these and even write a string in that. But here I cannot write an integer because I have specified the data type of the
Data type.
elements in the list, right? So this is how you declare a list. Let me just make it to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So suppose that I want to add a new number to this list. So the way to add number to a list is numbers dot you can write add and the element that you want to add. Suppose I want to add 5. Okay, and then you can we will see whether it is adding it or not by just printing the list, right? Uh, okay, see 5 is added to this list. Now many of you will be having a doubt that if I want to insert an element at suppose this position, so how exactly can I do that, right? So there is another function in lists which is insert. In this, you can specify the index of the position where you want to insert this element. Suppose I want to insert as this position, so we will count it like this. This will be the zeroth position. This will be the 1th position. So yeah, I want to insert the element at 1th position. So I will just write the position and then the value that I want to insert. Okay. Uh, yeah.
So the
And
one
yeah,
at the 100 are taking the positional arguments of insert.
yeah. So see, 100 is added at 1th position, 1th index. Okay. Now suppose there are a lot of numbers that I want to insert into the list all at once. So uh, I can use numbers dot add all and maybe just what should I insert? 10, 20, 30. Right? So if I print this now, see 10, 20, 30, everything is added to this list. Now let me just remove all of this. Now I want to remove this element whose value is 3. So I can just write remove and then the value which I want to remove. So suppose I want to remove this 3. So yeah, I will just write 3. And then if I print the list, then it will display 1 to 4. And just like the insertion operation, suppose you want to remove an element at a given index, then what you can do is just try to remove it. This will remove the element at the third index, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 will be removed in this case. Let's just try it. Yeah, 4 is removed from this list. So this was something about lists. We can even read the theory. Declaring variables as list allows multiple values to be entered. Yeah, and yes, list is an ordered group of elements of objects. So yeah, the order in which we declared the members of the list, the order is maintained, right? In programming, an array is an iterable collection of objects with each element accessible by the index, position, or a key. Yes, this is also a thing. Uh, Suppose I want to access the element at second position. So yeah, I can just access it like this. And the element at second position is 0, 1, 2. Okay, so 3 is the element, and yeah, it printed it. Okay, and to access elements, the list uses zero based indexing. Yeah, so we were calculating the index of the element from 0 and not from 1, right? Like 0, 0th element, 1th element, 2th element, 3th element, and so on, right? And where the first element index is 0 and the last is the list length minus 1. Okay, so this was something about lists. Now let's move on to maps. So maps are valuable in associating a list of values by key and value. So suppose like that, uh, I am given with a task to just store the marks of every student of the class. Uh, so you for to store this data, you would be needing the name of the student too and the marks that the student scored to, right? So if you are going on with a list, maybe you will be maintaining two lists, one with the marks and one with the name of the students. But this is not an intuitive way of doing this. So what we can do is we can make a map student marks. Okay, and what you can do is suppose I have scored 90 marks. Shrish have scored 92 marks. So like this we can create a map. And now if I want to know marks of Shrish Bhaiya, then I can simply write student marks and then uh, the name of the student. Okay, and when I run this program, it will print 92, which is marks of Shrish. So yeah, going into a bit details, in a map, this thing is called key, and this one is called a value. So the map is a collection of key value pairs. Okay, and the key and the value can be of any type of object, such as string, number, and so on. Just keep in mind that the key needs to be unique. So like I cannot just make two Shrish, otherwise I think it will be doing an error, or maybe the output would be something that we don't want. Yeah, so it gave the output 98, but this Shrish was having marks 92. So yeah, so just don't repeat the keys. I mean the keys should be unique in a map. Okay, and the value is retrieved by the key, like you just saw here. Suppose I want to see my marks, then I can just write it here Shivam, run the code, and here are my marks. Yeah, that's all about maps. And yeah, I mean, if you are having any doubt, then you can write it in the chat section. Shirish Bhaiya will read out the chat for me.
Yeah, like I'll display it over here. No problem.
Yeah. So let's just move on to operators. So these are some arithmetic operators. You can perform some arithmetic operations on numbers like integer or double. Suppose I'm taking an int a as 12, int b as what is that, 13, and if I just want to add it, then I can just use a plus operator to add them. It will just print the addition of that. Uh, yeah, it just printed the addition on that. Likewise, we have subtract, multiply, and divide too. And yeah, also there is one more operator which is a modulus operator. It is used to calculate the remainder if we are calculating 12 divided by 5. So the remainder if we the remainder that we get if we divide 12 by 5 would be 2. So yeah, it is here 2. Then we have equality and relational operators. So you can just you want to check that whether a is actually 5 or not, then you can just write double equal to uh, it is a equal operator. It will just say whether the two sides of it are equal or not. So let's just run it. And yeah, it's true. And exclamation mark and equal to is a not equal operator. We'll check that out too. Yeah, and if we run it, it should print false. Yeah, because a is not equal to 2 is not true, right?
Yeah.
Then there is greater than equal to, less than equal to operators. Suppose I want to check whether a is greater than 12 or not, right? So I will use this greater than operator. And suppose I want to check whether a is greater than equal to 12 or not. So I would use greater than equal to operator. Uh, in this case, it's true because a is equal to 12. Likewise, less than and less than equal to operator. You can just check it out. Now there are type test operators like as, is, and is not. So as operator is used to typecast import library prefixes like example. Uh, I want to import the math library, right? Uh, okay, and suppose I have some another library too, which has some functions that are having the same name in math too. So what I will do in that case is I would just type test. I will just use this as operator and just name is as dart math. Okay. So if I want to access any functions in dart math, then I can access it like this: dot math dot uh, dot like maybe I want to use I just want to print p. So yeah, so it just printed the value of e. Suppose that I am not using this as operator, then maybe I would have to do um, what would I do? Yeah, I will just write e and it will print 2.718. This is coming from this dot math library, right? And there are is and is not operator. Suppose I want to check whether a is really of the type integer, then I can just write a is int This thing is always true. Unnecessary type check. The result is always true. But yeah, just for learning, we will do it. Yeah, it's true. This is very helpful if you are assigning variables through by using by not specifying the data type. In that case, you can use this check wherever required. Maybe now if I just declare it as a string, then it should give answer as false. Yeah, and similarly we have is not operator, which is and exclamation mark. All right. So here are some assignment operators. Equal to is an assignment operator which we have used it, and then double question mark equal to is a great operator. Suppose if you have a variable which has a null value, then uh, then only it will assign a value. For example, if I have this a, see here the a has some value, right? So if I use this operator, uh, okay, I should print a here. Acha. So the thing is, it is string which can never be null. So maybe we can just declare a null variable. Okay. So you can declare a variable as null by just writing lit before the uh, type of, before just mentioning the data type of the variable. Okay.
You can either try just doing it string instead of string.
Yeah, we can even do that. Like,
Yeah, you want to define it nullable, right?
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, just refresh.
if you want to just want this name to be nullable, then you can write here string and then question mark. So if you want anything to be nullable, then you just have to write a question mark after mentioning the data type of that. Okay. So, अच्छा और
You're printing a print a नहीं है ना
oh
आपके पास name you need to print.
yeah 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 हाँ. Hmm, this shouldn't be the case. Yeah, it's just a warning. It's not an error. It is just
Okay.
printing Shivam, right?
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So if in case that I don't assign any value to it, in that condition, it would just assign it the value Shrish.
Mm.
So I would just repeat this thing. See, this operator would only assign this value to this variable if this variable is null. Okay. So in this case, we haven't assigned any value to this variable, which means it is null, and due to that, it is assigning value Shrish to this variable. Now, suppose that I just assign a value Shivam to this variable and then run this code. So uh, it it would be it would remain Shivam only because this assigning operator would only work if this is not null, right? And then we have plus equal to minus equal to modulo equal to and divide equal to operator. What you can do is If I just want to increase the value of b by 10, then I can write plus equal to 10. It is just a shorthand of writing b equals to b plus 10. And this looks much better than this. So, yeah, just let us check that out. Mm, yeah. So, it just printed 15, which is 5 plus 10. And similarly, you can uh, write multiply, divide, and so on. Mm, yeah. And if I want to divide it by, suppose I want to divide it by, what should I do? 1. Why is it giving an error? Acha, this must be double. Um, yeah. Now it would work fine. If I want to divide this by 2, which is, I mean, I want to divide b by 2, then I will write like this and run. Yeah, 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. So yeah, similarly minus equal to, and yeah, it will work. And there are logical operators. Exclamation mark is a logical not. Suppose uh, I want to write whether, suppose I have this expression, and I would like to print true if this expression is false. So what in this case I would use a not operator, which is an exclamation mark. Okay. So this thing is actually true. Uh, what is this? Acha.
What is the error? It's a warning, I think. Okay.
Yeah, you have to write exclamation mark here. Okay.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's right. If you just some insights, if you write the exclamation mark here, it is a different operator. So yeah, if you want to use the logical not operator, then just ensure that you are writing it in front of the uh, expression which you want to uh, just negate. Okay, and then there is a logical and logical or. Suppose I just create an integer is equal to 10, and I want to check whether b is equal to 5, b is equal to 2.5, and a is equal to 10 at the same time, right? So what I can do is mm, just append this both with a logical and operator, right? So this will give answer true. Suppose I just change this as 5, then will give false. Yeah. So the thing is, AND operator works like this. If this and this both expression are true, then only it will return true. In all other cases, it will return false. And uh, logical OR operator is actually this one. Maybe there is an issue in slides, right? Okay. So the thing in logical operator is, if either of this statement is true, then it would give the answer is true. If both of them are false, then only it would return false. Okay. And then our conditional expressions, like uh, what I want to do. I want to check if a is 10. And if a is equal to 10, then I want to print something, and if a is not equal to 10, then I want to print something else. Then what I can do is simply write if a equal to 10, and then a question mark, and then what I want to do if a is equal to 10. I will just print a is 10, and then colon, and then the statement which you want to write if a is not equal to 10, not 10, and then a semicolon. So if many of you will be aware of this as ternary operators, right? Maybe in C++ also we have this, right, Srish?
Yeah,
Yeah, we have this ternary operators even in C++, right?
yeah, yeah, we do.
Yeah, yeah. So they are the same in Dart too, right? So it just printed A is 10 because this evaluated true, and so it printed this one. If I just remove this and then try to print, acha. Let me-
Yeah, so ternary operators would be of great help in future also when you'd be working with widgets and all. Like you must have seen in apps, right, that there's a dark theme. So how we do that is using we can think of using a ternary operator for it. Like if the theme is dark, if you want to switch something, right, you can use a ternary operator for it. Yeah.
yeah, so just like Shirish Bhaiya told, we will do just do like we will just have the a variable and then we will just something which is actually working in Dart. I just want to show how मतलब सिर्फ बताना चाह रहा हूँ मैं कैसे हो सकता है. It is not
Yeah.
something how you will do that. Okay. Uh, then set theme dot, or else set theme dot. Maybe you could do something like this. We would actually do something like this when we are creating an app, right? Just ignore it right now. Okay, so here we have Cascade Expressions. This is something which will be new for you. Okay, the thing is, um, I have a list of numbers. 1, 2, 3, and what I want to do with these numbers is I want to add 0 to this list and then remove the element at second position. So normally what I will do is just numbers dot add 0, and then uh, numbers dot remove. Uh, what I wanted to do is remove the element at second position, right? At second index. So normally I will just write it like this, but Dart provides you with cascade expression with which you can just
Sure, I think it's lagging a bit, but no problem.
hello,
Yeah, yeah, it's fine now.
yeah. So if you want to just write this both expressions as one, then you can simply write. See here we have two full stops, and then yeah, add 0, and then two full stop, and then again remove at and two. Yeah. So this is the same as this, but this looks more intuitive as it is just in a single line, and you can infer that this operation would be uh, done first and then this would be done. Okay, this one. So this is something about cascade expressions, right? Then we have the flow statements like if else, ternary operators, for loops, while and do while loops, continue and break statements. So we will quickly go through this. Suppose suppose I want to see if the zeroth if the element at zeroth index in this list is one or not. So I can just write numbers of 0 is equal to 1. Uh, Shivam, 0th element is in the 1. Yeah, I want to print this. If it is not 1, then I would like to print that Shivam, you are wrong. Yeah. So I would run this, and then yes, assume zeroth element is indeed 1 because it is 1. Yeah, I'm not wrong. And
So these are just the simple if-else statements you must know.
yeah, it
Let's
is
just
similar to,
quickly go through the other ones. Yeah,
yeah, the ternary operators we just
yeah,
saw here.
we just did that.
Yeah, for loops, you can also just use what you can do. The syntax of for loop is
It's
the
quite same for
same
C++. Plus
for
plus.
C++
Yeah,
and Dart.
yeah. It's
So
like exactly same.
yeah,
So yeah, no need to worry for that.
so you can just write,
Things are quite similar to C++ plus plus and Python itself.
yeah.
So
But
it's like a
for
mix of.
for loops, if you want to, there is another way of writing for loops. So for example, I can write like this for variable number in numbers, and then I can just print the number. So this for loop and this for loop is exactly the same, but this looks more intuitive. So yeah, you have these both options available for you in Dart. I'll just run it and show you. Yeah, 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then we have while and do while loops. I will just show us 0, then print yes, and then maybe you can just yeah. So this is like a simple while loop, and you also have do while loop. I think we also have the same in C++, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. We have this while and do while loop in C++, right? Same
yeah,
thing.
we do
Yeah.
same.
So the benefit of do while loop is if you want this thing to run at least one time, then you can use a do while loop because this condition is checked once these statements are executed. Okay,
Hmm.
and you have continue and break statements. They are the same like in C++ and Java.
Or
So
even in Python, they are the
yeah,
same.
even Python it is the same, right? So I will just simply skip it. Uh, okay, coming
So
to
let's.
functions. Now, many of you would be aware of functions, but I will just repeat it once. Function are used to group reusable logic. Suppose you are executing same code again and again, so it's better to just create a function that will do it and just call that function to do that thing again and again, rather than just writing this whole code again and again, right? And a function can optionally take parameters and return values. We will just see it. Okay, we will just create a function. Uh, so yeah, void. So main is itself a function. Now suppose I want to just print hello many times. So I would create a function say hello, which would print hello. Okay. Now if I want to print hello, then I will just have to write say hello and then run it. And then yeah, it just printed hello. And if you want to have parameters, then yeah, you can have it. Suppose I not this one. I will create a new function. Sum of sum of ints. Okay. Here I will take two integers as parameter and return the sum of them. Right. So if I want to just access this, then I will just write the sum equal to sum of ints. Suppose I want to calculate 12, the sum of 12 and 13, so I will just write like this and then print sum, right? So the thing is, uh, okay, it printed the sum of this. So I will just describe what is happening. So when this expression is called, then this 12 and 13 are passed to this function. A would get the value of 12 and B would get the value of 13. And this function is returning A plus B, which is 12 plus 13, which is equal to 25. And that 25, the value 25 is getting stored in this sum variable, and it is getting printed here, right? So this is about functions, and this function is I would say not looking quite good to me. So the thing is, in Dart you can write a function like this too. Mm, yeah. So if you want, if the function that you are creating just has a one state, just has only one statement in it, then you can use this arrow operator too. This will function like the same way that this did. Yeah. So yeah, you should remember this too because many a times you would use this operator. Okay, and then if a function is okay, this thing is covered. Then if a function is not returning anything, using the void return type is not required. So if I just remove this void from here and then run say hello, it will just print hello. Yeah, no error occurred. If you wouldn't have wrote void here, then in other languages it would have thrown an error, but that's not the case in Dart. Okay, so now coming to classes and Darts. So class is like a blueprint that defines a variable and methods that are common to all objects of a certain kind, and an object is an instance of a class. So suppose I have a car as a class, so it serves as a blueprint for me to make any car such as a Mercedes or a Porsche. They are the instances of car, right? So let's just create a car class. Mm, so class, This is how you create a class. Then I want class to have this class to have two variables. First one is string um, name of car. Okay, it can be null. And then I want to have string name of owner. Okay, so this class would enable me to create any car that I want, which would have these two properties. So suppose I want to create a car, say Porsche. Uh, yeah, so I can just write it like this, and it will create a car Porsche, and then you can just uh, write the name of the car, which is Porsche
Yeah.
itself,
So the
and
name of the
then
car is the technically the object, right?
yeah, and then name of the owner. Suppose this car is owned by Srish Bhaiya, then I will write his name. And suppose if I want to just print the owner of this Porsche, right? So I will just write Porsche and then dot name of owner. So what this will do is print the owner of this car, which is Shrish. Okay. So this thing is looking a bit weird, right? I mean, you are writing these two more statements. So to not write these two statements, what we can do is create a function which is known as constructor. Uh, every class has a constructor. Uh, the default constructor has no parameters in it, but we can just create a function, sorry, a constructor which will take name of the car and name of the owner. Okay. So suppose now I want to create a car, then I don't have to write these two statements here. I will just simply write first the name of the car, which is what Porsche, right? And then name of the owner. So yeah,
Okay.
this
So kind of the
appears.
positional arguments,
Yeah,
portion sheet.
yeah. It just printed the same thing. Name owner of the car, which is Shrish. Okay. But I think this is not too great because suppose I have a class which has hundreds of variables. So I wouldn't remember the position of each variable. I mean,
Yeah.
what should I enter the first variable? What should I enter the second variable? Like and so on, right? So in Dart, you can have named arguments in
Mhm.
constructor, and you can do it simply by just enclosing this in curly braces. Okay. Now here it will give an error. Mm, now if I want to just name of the car, then I will just like this Porsche, and then name of
So you
owner.
can even change the position of name
Yeah,
of the owner and car
I am just
also.
creating a new car here.
Hmm.
Name of what I wrote here first, name of the car. Okay, so here I will just write a name of the owner as the first argument. Suppose this car is owned by me, yeah, Shivam, and then name of the car, it is Mercedes. Okay, so this way also it would work the same. Mainly you should use this named argument because it would make the creation of objects more easier. Okay, and suppose that I am having another string which is car number. So every car has a number plate, but uh, suppose that I just bought my Mercedes, and so it doesn't has a car number to it. So I can't pass the car number here. So what can I do? So the thing is, I can simply write here
Default argument. Yeah.
your default argument, which maybe suppose if a car doesn't has any number, then maybe it would be like this. Okay, so uh, the thing, so it will work like this. So if we pass car number as an argument here, then that car number would be assigned to the car number of this object. So suppose Shirish Bhaiya's car has a car number. Maybe it be uh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Shirish Bhaiya's car has a car number, but currently my car doesn't has a car number. I just bought it new. So the thing is, I wouldn't pass a car number to this, and then this default value will be applied to that. So suppose post dot car number, and then print Mercedes dot car number. Um, so the thing is, Shrish Bhaiya had a car number, so I just printed its car number. While I didn't have a car number, so it printed the default value that we set here,
Yeah.
which is this one. And the thing is, if there is something, if there is a field that is required by you, which can't be null, then you would write here required. So this would say that to create an object of a car type, the car number is a
Needs
required
bigger.
member, right? So yeah, this is giving me an error because I am not assigning a car number here. Now it will just run fine. Okay, yeah. So there will be some cases where you would not want a field to be null. So in that case, you would write this required keyword, and uh, suppose there would be some cases in which you wouldn't always pass a value, so you want to have a default value to that, maybe like this. So yeah, this both ways you can just use this ways to just write this constructor, right? Okay, and okay, so there will be some issues when we will be creating an app. For example, I'm creating Instagram clone, right? So just when I open the app opens so quickly, but maybe the images will take time to load. But meanwhile, the I can just scroll through the app. There won't be an issue while scrolling the app, right?
Yeah. So
So
for
how
you to
can we?
wait for the data to arrive, you need to
Yeah,
wait till the data arrives in the app, but still show that yeah it's loading to the user so that he waits for it. Yeah.
yeah.
So that could
So,
be done through.
so this issue would be faced by us when we are creating an app that would be uh, getting a data from an API.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this you will be using asynchronous functions, which will perform the time-consuming operation without waiting for the operation to complete. So, yeah, the program wouldn't just wait for that function to just to complete the execution of the statements. The code will just run on, and meanwhile, at the same time, that function will ex- will get the data from API or so on. So these functions either return a function or stream objects, a future or stream objects. A future object represents a value that will be available at some point
Available
of
at
time in
some.
future, and a stream represents continuous stream of values. You will learn about this more when we would create app with Flutter, right? We would be using, we will be creating an app that will be using APIs later in some other session. Okay.
So yeah, we would be using the Spotify API to make a music app. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, do look out for that.
Yeah. So let's just get introduced to Flutter. So Flutter is an open source UI SDK created by Google. It is used to develop cross-platform applications for Android, iOS, Linux, macOS, Windows, Google Fuchsia, and web from a single code base, which is great. And Flutter is fast. It runs at 60 FPS and 120 FPS for capable devices. Nowadays, we have some phones and some laptops that have a 120 Hz display. On those devices, our apps can run at 120 FPS without any issues. And the thing is, applications made in Flutter are built from single code base and are compiled to native ARM code or Intel code in when we are creating desktop apps, or it just converts to JavaScript code when you are when creating a website. Okay,
Website.
and Flutter can even access specific iOS and Android APIs by communicating via platform channels. Uh, I would give a
Yes, yeah.
little bit more info about platform channels later on. So yeah, Shrish, yeah, what do you want to
Yeah, so
add?
there are designated packages for that. I mean, like the platform science you said on
Yeah,
the pub.dev. Yeah, we'll look into that later on. Let's
yeah.
continue.
So suppose you want to just get a file from your phone. So the
Hmm.
the Android API for it is different from the iOS API, but you don't have to worry about it. You just have to use one function. It would work both for Android and iOS. Yeah. And yeah, why do you use Dart to develop Flutter apps? Why not Java, C++, Python, etc. Right? Most of you know C++. So if Google made Flutter with Dart, then it would be great, right? But the thing is, Dart is ahead of time compiled to native code, making your application fast. So when you just create a release APK, a release app, it will just run as almost as fast as a native app. While if you are just debugging, then Dart is also compiled just in time, so that you can just reload whatever changes you are doing, and it will just display it fast. While in case if you are creating an Android app, if you are making some changes, then you have to compile the app again and then see the changes, which is not too great, I would say. Okay, so everything in Flutter is a widget, and you combine widget to form apps. Oh no, it's not apps; it is amazing apps. And yeah, and you would be asking what are widgets, right? So the example of widgets are like widgets which would be used for structuring elements such as list or grid, or maybe which would be used as input elements such as form fields, or keyboard listeners.
Yeah. So basically,
Widgets,
you can say that widget is just like a class, right?
yeah.
The
If
types of
if
widgets
you
that
are
are there.
aware of native Android development, then you can say that the views that you say a visually appearing object as view in
Hmm.
Android. In Flutter, we say it as widget. It just it's you can say it is kind of same, but yeah, not truly same. Okay. So widgets can also would also be used to lay out UI elements such as row, column, stack, centering, padding. Even text is a widget. image is a widget, a button is a widget, everything is a widget, and
So
you combine
anything
those
that you
widgets.
need to, yeah, show, it would be a widget. You can make your own customized widgets. You can
Yeah,
even take a widget, extend it, and make your own widget, or anything of that sort would be a widget in Flutter. Yeah.
yeah. So you would be having a question that how can I learn about all widgets, right? So the answer to this is you don't need to learn about all the
Yeah.
widgets because there are lakhs of widgets, and new widgets are just adding to the list of them daily. So the thing is, you just have to learn about some commonly used widgets, and then you would just explore some other widgets while just developing apps. Would you want to add something to this, Shrish Bhaiya?
Yeah. So, like Shivam said, you can even customize and make your own widgets with the basic widgets which are already provided to you. So, yeah. Also, this helps to even structure the code in a better way, makes the code, gives the code a bit more structure, and makes it more customizable.
Yeah.
Shivam, let's continue.
Uh, So you would be having a lot of questions, but I mean, how are we going to create widgets, or how can I know this widget exists or not, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we will not answer those questions in this session. That's what the next session is for. And yeah, in the next session, you will be creating an app or website like this. I mean, you can scan this QR code and just see this. Maybe I can
So
just
I
open it.
think I can share this website in the comments. Yeah. So we would be creating a similar.
Yeah, maybe I can even open in another tab.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, Flutter web is a little bit slow. It takes time to load. Um,
It takes time, so don't worry.
yeah, maybe my internet connection is not too great. I mean,
Okay,
you
wait.
can.
I'll just share it. Wait, I have it open. Just wait.
Yeah,
Just yeah. So you can see the screen. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe, I am unable to. I can't open the stream right now because whole of my screen is being shared.
Yeah, no
So
problem. No problem.
okay. So you will be able to see that there are some squares that are just going up. This
Yeah.
is the
So
squares
we'd
that
be
are going
using
up
the
is not actually a
animation.
video. Yeah, it's actually an animation written in Flutter, and I have just used it. I mean, the animation is not completely made by me. Someone had made this animation, and I just used it as a widget in my app.
We
Okay.
can even use animated containers to do the same thing, but that's
Yeah. Yeah.
for the next
You
session.
can create this in you can create this yourself, but I wasn't patient enough, so I just grabbed
No
someone's
worries.
code. So yeah, you will be creating an app or website like this and many many more. So yeah, see you in the next
See you next session.
session, not lesson.
It's always the last night that's wrong.
Yeah, I always mess up with the last side.
Okay, fine, no
Yeah,
problem.
anyway, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we will be also sharing a Google form link in the
Yeah,
YouTube
I
comments.
guess I will share it right now itself in the chat here. But other
Yeah,
than that, I would share it in the info groups later
yeah.
on.
So the thing
No
is,
problem.
you just fill up these forms, and then we will create a WhatsApp group where
Mhm.
you can just post your doubts. or we can even have chill meets in which we would just discuss about the progress that we are making, right?
Yeah.
So that's it from my side. Shri Shoya, would you want to add something to this?
Nothing from my side. Just that we would be making many more apps like the ones which we showed. I even made a snake game, which you might have seen in the Nokia mobile
Yeah.
phone, which was in Flutter. So yeah, we would try to take a session that how you can make a similar game in Flutter, and we would try to bring something like that you would like to see. So we can make even more games. Like if you have any suggestions, you can also give that over here in the comments, or just PM me if you have any suggestions for any of the apps that we can make and show it over here. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was it from my side, and let's see you in the next session. Yeah. So bye bye.
Not lesson. Yeah.
So
Bye.
goodbye.